All right, well, I just bought this brand new crate engine. Just got it back from the auction. This is the first time I've seen it. So I guess let's get it off and take a look at it. I don't know if my tractor's gonna be able to lift this thing. It's pretty heavy. The box is kind of deteriorating here. I'm beginning to suspect they didn't store this inside for the last 150 years. Whoa! All right, a quick explanation's in order here. You're probably wondering why I'm not working on the excavator, but I was at the local auction site looking for actually excavator parts, and I came across this. It was advertised only as a 4-cylinder crate engine, but clearly from this crate, it's something old and probably unique. So there was one grainy picture of the engine, and I like a mystery, so I spent some time to figure out what it was. And it's a Rolls-Royce B-Series 4-cylinder B40 engine. I know nothing about that. I know nothing about British cars in general or British engines. Figured this would be kind of an interesting thing to check out. It basically sold for scrap value, so I'm really not out much. And I'll give you kind of what's on Wikipedia, which maybe or maybe not this is accurate. But started development or building in 1947, and then in 1951 to 56, the 4-cylinder version, there's an 8-cylinder and a 6-cylinder version of this. Looks like there were 15,000 built for the Austin Champ.
All right, we got a Champ here. What can you tell us about it?
It's a 1955 Austin Champ. It has a 4-cylinder Rolls-Royce motor, 5 forward and 5 reverse speeds. This was the British answer to the World War II Jeep.
Is that hood insulated, or is this just a quiet? That is just the smoothest running engine. Wow. Beautiful. You can't even tell it's running. No, I mean, you can see the belts moving.
Austin took over the building of these because Rolls-Royce couldn't catch up. So it seems like they stopped production in 56. It looks like the older versions of this are British standard thread, which is a problem because they don't have any Whitworth tools here. But the later ones were UNF, so hopefully that's what I have here. But that's about it. So let's open this thing up and see what we got. All right, just take a quick look at this thing. It's clearly been out in the elements for a while. You know, it's the bottom part of the crate's rotted out. So that's not a good sign because it's probably gotten water all over it. This is not an airtight thing. All this kind of stuff's been scratched off, or it's probably just, you know, fallen off over the years. Yeah, there she is. It would be nice to get like a year pulled off of here, but anyway, what do we got here? So, oh, UNF, all right. So we got tools for that. Okay. Probably some mice have been in here, for sure. Tag fell off that. So the wind's not too bad out here. Nope. Clutch plate, quantity 1. I don't see it. Oh, we got a box with some nuts on it. Where does this go to? Oh, this is taped off. Pipes to carburetor. Wonder what that went to. By the way, full disclosure, I haven't been in this at all, except when I first set it down, I lifted up the lid, just peeked in here, and the first thing I saw, there was water. sitting in where the spark plugs go, which clearly this thing has been sitting outside for a while, not just at the auction house. So that's not good. That might kill it right there. This thing could be, well, in fact, here's the fan. Yeah, it's locked up pretty good. So we'll get a bore scope in there eventually. Dipstick and adapter. Oh, that must be what this is. Oh, we got a dipstick. That's good. Spider webs. Oh, we got motor mounts. Sure, those are still good. Oil lines or fuel lines. Is there a carburetor or something? Oh, I see some more stuff down. Is there any way to get this crate off without like... All right, well, the wife wants this crate for her antique stuff, so I gotta try to get it off in as few pieces as possible. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's my work. Oh, there's smoke coming out of here. That old rotten wood catches easy. Anything over here? There we go. All right. There we go. Still good, mostly. Be nice to have that. What's this? This feels like a pulley or something. Some really old auction tags. It's not from where I got it. Any mice in here? Oh, what's this? Austin Motor Company. Covered in grease. Can you see that? Austin Motor, package October 52. That's pretty cool. So this thing's been sitting a while. What is this? Pin shaft H brake, quantity 4. Okay, we'll have to open these up somewhere else. There's a lot of stuff down here. Little packages like this. Okay, well, no carburetor. Someone must have stolen that out. This looks like a bearing or a seal or something. There's just a bunch of the same stuff in here. Actually, I just found this tag. It says April 54. So some of this stuff, this must be when this small stuff was packaged. But I think we're looking at early 50s here. There's still hope. Maybe the carburetor might be like under here. Hopefully. Okay, dog. What's this? Ooh, look. This is so much cleaner in there. Look at this. This is what the whole engine looked like originally. That color. What is this, the fuel pump? This must be a fuel pump, huh? Oh yeah. Hey, does it still pump? Doesn't seem like it. There is it might be a rat's nest under here. It's a giant nest. But there is, I guess there's not much hope for the carb being in there because there's probably no space underneath there. Shoot. Why is this covered up? All right, there you go. So the B40 number 1 Mark 5A engine number is 57080. Oh, jeez. Blowing the paint off down down there. Ugh. All right. So I should probably pull these plug covers off here. See what we're dealing with as far as how rusted this stuff is. Looks like they're threaded in. That's good. Hopefully they put sealant on there. I just seriously doubt that these are watertight. Oh, there is a gasket on there. It's not rusted there. It must be brass. All right. How bad could it be, right? Oh. Look at that. It's not rusted out. I'm not sure what all that junk is in there. Wow, I'm impressed. I was for sure this was going to be, I mean, it's stuck. But look at that. There is some dirt in there. And let's do the side camera here. All right, back in. Is that, am I hitting the piston? Wow. Okay, well this looks great. I see, like, I mean, is that pitting right there? I mean, I don't know. That's so minor. Who cares? Can I see? I believe this is a flathead, isn't it? I have no idea. Let's see. Can I see anything else in here? I am actually shocked that this. I mean, one of these has to be locked up because I can't turn the fan. So, I mean. Maybe we just got lucky on number 4 there. Is that number 4? Maybe it's number 1. This is British. Drive on the wrong side of the road. Okay, that one's spinning. All right, let's get this dog out of here. Okay. So number 3. A lot of goop around the outside, that's for sure. Ooh, look at that. I can't get this in. There we go. Beautiful. What's all that dirt in there? I don't know what that's about, but I don't think that's rust. Get in there a little closer. Yeah, it looks like dirt to me. A little bit of a rust spot right there. That's fine. Okay. It's number 3, so number 2. What's that right there? That's nothing. One of these has got to be rusty. I mean, why is this engine locked up? That piston looks a little bit. Oh, look at that corner. Let me get over there. That doesn't look that great, that piston. Let's check number 1. Ooh. What in the devil is that? Is that movable? Yikes, is that rut? I can't tell what that is. Looks like a sea creatures or something. It looks like a coral reef. Just on the piston, nothing on the cylinder. Did a mouse get into here or something? Oh, that valve's open. I wonder if junk just came in through there, like dust or something. Let's see here. Can I scrape some of this with the camera? Yeah, I scraped that away. Okay, let me turn this off and look at it. All right, I got it off. It's just grease. It ain't rust. It's something else. I mean, this thing has been sitting 70 years probably, so maybe I'll just pour some acetone ATF down into the cylinders, let it sit for a few days, and maybe just the rings have kind of stuck to the cylinder wall. So we'll give that a shot because it's stuck pretty good. So I thought by this point I'd be breaking this thing apart, selling it for parts, but maybe there's some hope. Probably not. I mean, every seal has got to be bad in this thing now, by now, right? Every gasket. All right, well, I found a manual online last night, so I kind of read through that. I got some more information. So this is a 3.5-inch bore, 4.5-inch stroke. Produces 80 horsepower at 3750 RPM, 138 foot-pounds of torque. This thing weighs 650 pounds, which makes a lot of sense because it was killing my tractor to unload this thing. I thought it was about closer to 400, but I was very wrong. Well, that's a nice little lid. The thing that was throwing me off was all like this alien-looking technology on top. But this is actually this engine's completely waterproofed, or it's supposed to be. So this is like just an electrical junction box. This is the ignition coil. This is the distributor, which I already kind of knew it says distributor on the top. And it's also shielded. All the ignition lines are shielded. So all this stuff, you can see it's got this, just a shielding over it, this metal braiding over it. And that's, I believe that's to prevent it interfering with the radio system in the car. But pretty cool. It's all waterproof, and it's actually a 24-volt system too, which is another thing I was not expecting. One other thing I read is that I think it has liners for the cylinders, and it said they were chrome, so that could be why there's not a lot of rust in there. So there's a possibility that in the crankcase, or everything down below is going to be rusted, like all the water may have drained into there. That's kind of the concern. So I think before I go any further, I'm just going to kind of inspect. I'll look in here through here, and then I'll find a way to inspect the crankcase. Okay, let's take a look in here. I wouldn't expect this to be rusted. Oh yeah, this looks pretty good. Well, looks way better than that Caterpillar did when I took that apart. Well, I mean, I don't see any rust. What's that? That could be, I don't know. Okay, it looks okay in there for now at least. Let's see if we can get into the crankcase through whatever this is. Okay, water didn't come pouring out, that's good. Ooh, that is really old oil. I'm gonna guess this is the drain plug if you have it set up with a dry sump. Oh, that looks good. What are we looking at in here? Okay, looks like there's some fluid in here. I guess we won't know until we get to the drain plug, but I mean, this doesn't look bad. Looks good. Crankshaft. If you watch when I rebuilt that Caterpillar and the first time I looked in the engine, that's kind of what I was expecting to see in here. That looks like some ATF dripping down from when I put that in yesterday. Okay, we got a big thing of goop. That looks like sludge. And I see a rust ring, so there could be some water, but it's all sitting way in the sump. Possibly messed up the oil pump there, in the pickup. So I think worst case is we're gonna have to pull a pan off to clean that out, get that goop out of there with whatever that is. All right, well this seems like a good engine to me, so let's go ahead and get it off here and get it into the shop. Well, unfortunately, I just today took the rear implement off my tractor, so there's no way I'm going to be able to pull this off without it tipping forward. So, we're going to have to get stupid instead, I guess. There we go. This is a little bit close to this piping, but I think that should be fine. That is a big rat's nest underneath there. I was hoping the rats had taken the carburetor down there, but don't think that's going to happen. This whole bottom area, I guess just the planks, that's rotten. Still strong enough to hold it, I guess. Let's put this on the burn pile. Oh, okay. So that must be the dipstick hole. There was just a piece of paper over that, nothing else. So that could be how water got in, if there was water in there. Look how small this sump is. All right, please don't fall on me. Oh, okay, that's water. All right, that's kind of what I was expecting, some water in there. That's what we saw on the scope. That wasn't that much. It wasn't full all the way to the top. Oh, that smell. That smell. Really old oil. It's getting a little bit dark out here, sorry. Okay, so it's safe to assume water kind of drizzled down the cylinders, probably really slowly, and found its way into the pan, so it might not be that big of a deal. I'm sure that's why the engine's stuck, but that might be recoverable. Just be really gentle about it so we don't mess the rings up. Okay, this is probably the first time it's been inside for a long time, right next to the Isuzu over there. So I'll just let this soak for a few days, keep dumping some PB Blaster in or other stuff to the cylinders, and hopefully we'll check back in a few days and see if it gets unstuck. It's actually been hanging here for a few days. I guess in a way I was hoping it would just fall off the hoist here and I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. That's a great place to drop that. Come off. It's just no rust. Charlie, you can't drop it in there. No. Looks like they installed the pressure plates and all that, but left the clutch out. I guess maybe they stick over time or something. Anyway, there's no place to bar this over, so I'm going to try to do it through the top here. So this is probably just condensation from it sitting. This was not an airtight area. This back plate didn't have a gasket on it. So that's why there's also a ton of dust in here too. I'm not going to put a ton of force on here. I don't want to break anything. We'll just see if she's ready to break free here. She might not be. Ooh, I can see it moving. Oh. It's moving. What happened? I guess I have a little bit more leverage with this side. Can I get it on the fan? That's still really, can't turn the fan by hand. Is the fan turning when I do this? Yeah? It's really tight. This isn't the best place to do this, but I can't find another spot to get leverage. I think I'm also turning it the wrong way. All right, making some progress here. Kind of. Add a little bit more blaster to this. Keep things lubricated. It's getting a little easier to turn, kind of. Or maybe I'm just getting better at it. But we're spraying. That acetone's probably all evaporated by now, but... Oh, no it's not. Nope, still in there. Is this loose enough to go this way yet? Ah, see, it's still so tight. I can't even do that by hand. Getting easier. Oh, I can move it by hand now. Barely. Ugh. Oh, got me right in the face. All right, hold on. Oh my gosh. What a mess. Oh, turning better now. Let me clean this up real quick. Ooh, nothing through 3 and 4 though. Nothing came out of there. Okay, cylinder number 1. So I think the exhaust valves are on the deck and the intake valves are up top. This must be at like top dead center here. There's a valve. There we go. So is that the ridge? Wow. Or no, that's just a reflection. Okay. Looks pretty good all the way down, huh? Yeah. So it's got to be these chrome liners, obviously, don't rust. So any damage is probably on the piston and rings, which won't be able to see without taking the engine apart. I do see a line, a vertical line right there. Okay, so let's check number 4, since we're already down on 1. Okay, looks really good. Here's number 2. Still some fluid on the piston there, looks like. Number 3. Okay, well, I don't know what to say. Let's see if we got any compression here. Oh yeah, good compression on 1. Well, finger compression. Okay, we got 4. Okay, 3. Oh yeah, we got 2. All right, we got compression, some kind of compression on all 4. All right, well, now that I've gotten all the water out of the oil pan, I want to take another look with the scope here to see kind of what we're dealing with. I have a feeling it's going to be quite rusty in here. Yep. Let's see. Get a better view of that? Better, okay. Yeah, so that doesn't look good. That's actually good news though, because you see where that line is of rust, that's where the water was. And it's definitely below the level of the oil pump, which is probably that thing right there. So it's just in the pickup. There's also that black goop right there. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, that's the pan needs to come off. This needs to be cleaned out. I don't want to suck up any of that stuff. I'm getting, oh, it smells. Still viscous. It's just, it's really kind of, there's not much left as far as oil goes. Isn't that? There we go. I thought this just comes off, but maybe not. Seems like it should. There we go. This rubber isn't terrible. I guess I'll have to try to find a canister that'll fit that. By the way, if you're curious what this stuff is, so this is the pressure bypass for the oil system. And it runs, this is low pressure that goes to the front gearing, and the lifters are up here. So it's high pressure through the block. This is the intake for the oil filter. This is the output into the oil galley. This right here is the oil pressure switch. This is for like the generator, which did not come with. That's fine. This is the fuel line for the carburetor. This right here is a filter for the ignition. This is the ignition coil. I think that's pretty much everything on this side. Pretty simple. Start pulling some of this off. Days before plastic. I wonder what the chances are that this wiring's all still good. I did find some spark plugs for this. There's like no market anywhere in America for this stuff, so I had to order it from England. But they weren't actually that expensive. I think they were like $5 each, including shipping. The special screen spark plugs. And they fit in. It's like a reverse thread of normal. I'm not sure what this is for. Oh, this has got to be vacuum, right? Because this is going to the distributor. It's coming off the intake manifold, so this has got to be a vacuum line. I think this one is 2. Then we got, this must be, then we got 2 hoses here. Don't know where those go yet. Those must be vacuum though too. All right, got a few extra lines that came with it. So there's this one, which just looks like a fuel end. And oh, is this just an extra one of these? This is the fuel line that goes, this is the fuel pump to the carburetor. Okay, yeah, that's totally a spare for that. And I got these 2. And something goes here. So no. Oh, I'm not sure what this. Someone that knows about this is probably screaming at me right now. This could go to something up front, like I don't think it would go to the generator. I think this is the dipstick. Also a few other things where the label came off. This is the stuff that was kind of floating around in the box by itself. What in the... It's like some kind of linkage. This is some kind of oil seal. Looks like it's no good. Can't read it. The castle nut. Some more stuff here. I think this is, yeah, there's some lettering on here. Now it's gone. You can see my finger through it. Okay. Now this says gear reverse, intermediate shaft. Okay, well it's definitely a gear. Oh, this must be, is this for the clutch? Yeah, this whole gear is just covered in cosmoline. Screen quadrant. Okay, there's some screws. These are more screws. Oh, these are some kind of roller bearings. Okay. No, these didn't make it. H brake. Oh, handbrake. Okay. I think that's it. gonna lay it on its back here eventually. I need these studs out of the way. All right, it's still dangling here, but I want to take the oil pan off before I set it on its back because any junk that's in here is gonna slide in. Bad timing, Charlie. Oh my gosh, it smells. Oh. Ugh. Gross. That horrible old oil smell mixed with acetone, so it's even more pungent. Now, no more water in there, that's good. Ugh. Ugh. There does appear to be some sludge on the... What is this? Is this... This feels like a piece of paper or something. This is cardboard or something. Yeah, that I don't know why that's in there. Shouldn't be. And then there's sludge and rust on the bottom. It's not too bad actually. It looked worse on the camera. This will clean up pretty nice. All right, I'm gonna take the pressure plate off. It sticks out a little bit past the bell housing here. Also, it would have to come off because there's no clutch in it, so. There we go. Oh, this all looks good. Is this just covered in grease? What is this? Oh yeah, this has some kind of coating on it. You definitely would want to clean that off before you put the clutch on. This is in good shape. Okay, change of plans. It was going to be too hard and too dangerous to flip it up on its back, so I can work on it like this. I got some jack stands holding it up on the engine mount in the back, and then the engine hoist is also got some tension on it, so it's mostly safe to work on. And there's really not much to do underneath. There's just this pickup screen. It's got just whatever that cardboard was in that oil pan. It's like that waxy cardboard that was wrapped around everything somehow got inside the engine. So I think I can just take this off. I'm sure there's a little pin holding it in, and make sure the screen on the bottom's cleaned out. Let's take a look underneath. It looks... Dog, you gotta get that thing out of here. In my opinion, it looks pretty good underneath. So, get the light in here better. I mean, no rust that I see. I can't really see too great. You probably see better than I can right now. And yeah, she's good all the way. Let's get some better light here. Hold on. Got a better light for you guys. You guys deserve the best. So let me over here. So can we see the camshaft in here? I can't see a thing. Hopefully you can. We'll just kind of slowly pan around here. Let me know if you see anything wrong. I can't see a thing under there. She's clean. You know, when something sits this long, every little bit of oil comes off. So yeah, she's looks, I mean, it is brand new, right? It's just been sitting for a while, but it looks really good. No rust forming, no condensation in here. Anyway, that's enough of that. Look at those the lock washers they use there. Interesting, haven't seen those before. Oh, there's the camshaft, geez. Yep, it's there. Not missing. Okay, got the oil pan pretty pretty cleaned out. So that's ready to go. It's got a brass drain plug. A lot of brass stuff on this engine. It's pretty cool. This was back in the day when they were sparing no expense. This is the pickup. So I cleaned this out really well. I got some wire brushes through here. Cleaned it out as best as I could. It's a lot cleaner. There is a pipe that goes into here, and there was an O-ring that goes, let's see if you can spot it. Right in there, you can see the groove for it. So I pulled that out and cleaned that all up. And we'll put a new O-ring in there. Just need to make a new gasket for this thing. I think it's galvanized. I think this is like some kind of galvanization or something, because that's why it didn't rust. It stayed pretty clean. But check this out, this mistake in the casting here, or it never got cleaned up. It's this giant burr, and this is metal right there. So probably wouldn't have leaked because there's still a path around here, but let's clean that up. Of course, if I was really lazy, I could use RTV, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Almost the same color. Okay, I also made this gasket. This just terminates onto a flat block, so I didn't punch a hole for that. It goes there, and then I got the O-ring placed in here. You can see it in there. Extremely hard to get in there. I think it was, what size was it? 210. Remember, nothing on here is metric. It's all imperial. You just kind of lubricate this O-ring up. Now the engine block's actually all one piece all the way around, so you don't need any RTV in the corners like on a modern oil pan. All right, well, hopefully you can see here. Kind of, let's see. Oh. This just kind of slides in. That O-ring was pretty tight. Let's put a little bit of grease on here. Should help. Come on, you. I don't want to pull this engine on top of me. This may be the wrong size O-ring. All right, this is one size down. Going in, or is it, what's it doing? You see that? It's just, I can just feel it's not tight. All right, I think I found one that's gonna work here. If I can get it on here without getting cut. There we go. So this one is not as thick. It's if you've put it around the pipe by itself, it snugs on there. And we're not going for, you know, like a hydraulic seal here. Just needs to slow down any leakage from the suction. So I think this should be okay. Guess we'll find out. That's all dirty. Okay. Normally I'd put some gasket maker on, but I kind of have a feeling it's gonna have to take it off at some point. We'll see. we go. Already getting heavy. Easy, easy. All right, well, let me tighten these up. These are 5/16, so I'm guessing the torque is probably in the 20 foot-pound range, but we will torque it on. Yeah, Doug. Okay, I think we're ready to be a little more safe now. Set it back on this engine stand. I mean, it feels safer, but it's probably not. This thing's rotted out. This thing really gets wedged in this crate. There we go. Check this out. They have little cutouts for each oil pan stud on this crate. So it's probably fine for it to sit on there because this thing's rotted out, so it's not really holding it up at all. So it's basically just sitting on the oil pan and on the bell housing, which should be fine. All right, so I'm going to be reusing the filter that was on here. Number one, it's almost new. It was pretty clean. I did clean it out with brake clean though. But the main reason is that I cannot find another one in the States. I'd have to order one from England, which is fine, but the amount of time that takes, I mean, it's gonna take weeks. So I think it'll be fine with the original one. Just for a quick run here. All the seals looked okay on it. All right, can I sneak this in? This thing's gonna be in the way, huh? Oh, nice. Of course it doesn't. I did take apart this dipstick and kind of clean it up a little bit, but I need to, is this gonna come out? I need to kind of get the rust off of there. The O-ring on here is still good, believe it or not. That is a wide range for the oil. There we go. Now there is this guy right here. I'm like 99% sure this is a crankcase vent. Obviously it went up to some kind of snorkel assembly. So I'm not sure, maybe just for an initial run here, I'll just kind of leave this off. I'll keep this and then it might be shooting oil out of here, we'll see. All right, got some 30 weight going in. That's what it calls for. I think that's full. This brass cap is really cool. Too bad they painted it. Kind of getting sidetracked, but I just want to check out what's going on in here. I just need to know if I need to order any more parts that are going to come from England. Get that going now. Cap looks good. Looks like they have a little something in there between the contacts to protect them. Let me get this out of the way, I'll show you. There's some kind of protectant between the contacts. It looks like they put a piece of tape in there with that goo on it. How's this wiring looking? Hey, not crispy. It might probably still work. Things are looking up here. Set her to top dead center here. This nut right here is not a 3/8 or a 5/16. Doesn't fit either. It does fit a 9mm kind of. So maybe this is a holdover from the British standard. On the subject of electrics, all the electrical on here is Lucas. If you've been around long enough, you've probably heard all the jokes about the smoke you can put back in your wiring harness. They have a bad rep, but hopefully this was made before those days. Maybe they started out good. Interesting on this distributor cap is it's got 8 points on it. But I guess they use the same cap for the straight 6 or the straight 8 version of this engine. The rubber in there looks pretty good. Is that rubber? No, it's just a flare fitting. I don't know if this is supposed to be vacuum or what. I guess maybe this is, I don't know what the vacuum would do in here. Not sure what the point of this is. Yeah, see, this one's too big for a 5/16, just barely. So this has got to be the British thread stuff, which I don't have any tools for. Phew, all right. And then, uh-oh. It's like a piece of rubber. It's gonna pull out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Still a little bit of softness to it. I don't know if marker is the best idea here. Yeah, that was really stupid. Ooh. This is the kind of stuff I was worried about. It's not that bad. I mean, it's definitely rusty in there. I think I can clean that out without dropping a bunch of rust into the engine. Let's give it a shot here. By the way, no gasket or O-ring here. So I'm not really sure what their plan was to keep water out of here, because it's basically just this flange that's on here. Fortunately, nothing's locked up. It's just surface rust. All right, I got this thing mostly cleaned up. Then I noticed that the points in there aren't actually opening. So they must have done that on purpose. So to adjust that. You gotta loosen these two, and then this one adjusts it. I can see it opening there. There we go. It's opening there. That might be too much. All right, clean off these contacts. This is just a piece of 1000 grit. There's a little bit of crap in there. I don't have any electrical contact cleaner. I usually have some of that around. Hopefully the condenser's good. I did try to measure the capacitance on it, and it didn't show up on my meter, but it's not shorted out. There's not any stuff that's like leaked out of it, so maybe hopefully it's still okay. By the way, I looked it up in the manual, and this is just a breather. There is no vacuum to this. It just allows air to flow in and out. By the way, the reason I took this off is I was hoping there was a cam gear on here so I could, when I pull it, like a small block where you can go and you can prime the oiling system. But unfortunately, that is not the case. The cam gear is integrated into the oil pump. So, it's, you know, not the best for the engine to, is that where this is pointed? And since I can't prime it like I wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and take that filter canister back out and pre-fill it with oil. Hopefully this breaks free here. I'm going to reuse this gasket. Oh, what a relief. It looks good. A little bit of rust in here, but that's actually not bad at all. I think they got some kind of inhibitor or something in here, some rust inhibitor. And this is all just from pouring oil in. There's some junk in here. Some metal pieces. I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are the intake valves, and then the exhausts are on the deck, like a flathead. Kind of an interesting arrangement. Okay, I'm gonna leave this off just so I can make sure these are moving and that oil gets up here. What are the chances that this starter actually works? Been sitting for 70 years. I was reading a little bit more about this. I guess the reason it's all 24 volts is since this is a military application, they kind of wanted to standardize with the tanks and that kind of stuff, which needed 24 volt starters. I don't know if the later civilian versions of this engine were still 24. I think the manual has 12 and 24, so I'm guessing probably not. It's probably unscreened and 12 volt. So that line goes up to the junction box. I think like all your electronics are supposed to go to here, except for the connections to the starter. I mean, that's the only place I see. So we got 4 terminals there. All right. All right, so we got that connector is that guy, I think. We got ignition, starter button, connection, oh, that's a ballast bypass, and then oil pressure warning light. I'm gonna have to take this off because that diagram does not match to what I'm measuring there with a resistance meter, so. All right, looks pretty clean in here. So these are the ballast resistors. And we got yellow, this is going to the starter. The starter, is that the same as this? All right, so top left is starter. That's the one that was, it was telling me that was the ignition. And OP, what is that? Oil pressure is OP. Bottom left. I'm just gonna start with 12 volts here to make sure everything works. I don't wanna jump right into 24 and have things shorting out and catching fire. Not really a clean way to do this without it hitting ground. All right, so if I turn the ignition on, okay, good, so we got 12 volts. So there must be that other lead from the starter must be a ground, because that's giving me a reference to 12. So this top left was solenoid, right? Oh, starter, but nothing's happening. Okay. Hopefully these are still charged. All right, 25 volts on the starter. Well, I hear a knocking noise. trying to move. So maybe it just needs to be freed up a little bit. Let's see if we can kind of rattle this free. I wonder where it's stuck. Nope. Hopefully it's just this guy's stuck. Seems to be moving free on there. That's totally freed up. Oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. Ooh, that smells. All right, so what do we got here? I mean, it doesn't look that bad, does it? I don't know. That's the coil. That must be what I'm hearing clicking. Oh, that might be the problem right there. It's not contacting the... Oh, it smells so bad in here. You know, these braided covered wires, I've never actually seen these new. I only ever see them when they're like worn out in a house or, you know, an old appliance or something. It's pretty cool actually seeing something like this that's new and never been used. Okay, let me try to explain this, what I think is going on. So this is your relay coil right here, which is your solenoid. So that clicking we're hearing is that. So there's this contact here and there's one on the other side, and this is one plate that's supposed to connect the two, I'm guessing. I mean, these are pretty simple. And it seems like what's going on is there's this little, I don't know if you can see it. This guy right here is, see how it's moving? So if that folds in, then this, there we go. See, now it's contacting. I do see a plunger. This guy right here, I'm guessing that's kind of what pushes it away. Is this supposed to move? Okay. Ooh. Okay. That's probably supposed to spring back. Okay, so it's saying when you push on here and then you push this in, yeah, okay, it went by that trigger plate. This might just need to be loosened up. All right, guys, bear with me here. I've never tried to fix one of these before, but I've spent some time with it. I think I kind of know what's going on now. So, like I said, that little latch on there that was stopping this plunger, or this contact from closing all the way, that is actually driven by this, which is this drives this pinion gear forward. So, and the whole point of it is it doesn't start spinning the starter motor really hard until the plunger's in place. So, like once it's there, then it'll start, these contacts will close and the whole motor will actually start to spin hard. So I put this cap back on because this does actually keep the plunger a little bit forward, otherwise it won't trip. But now if I put power right here, which is on the open side of the contact, you see the pinion gear pops out and it starts spinning slowly. All right, so that's supposed to happen, I think, right when you hit here. Oh, did that just clear it up? I think it's working. All right, now I see how it's supposed to work, that it's working. So when you hit the starter button, there's a coil in here that energizes it and pulls this in, right? Well, if you see, what it's doing is it's connecting these two conductor strips right here, right, when it touches across them. So this one's a little bit taller though, I don't know if you can tell on camera, than this one. So what it's supposed to do is it contacts that, and that gives this power, and this drives the coil over here, which shoots the pinion gear out. And the action of that shaft going out spits the pin out here, which lets that latch free, and then this thing closes all the way. So there's about 3 or 4 different things happening at once or really quickly in succession. But I think the problem was that it was getting just hung up and it wasn't contacting this side over here at all. So I'm going to put a little bit of grease on these posts, which is where it kind of rides. It's a little bit loose on here. I guess it needs to be. So worst case, there is a lug on the front pulley there where you could, I think that's for crank starting it with it by hand. But I'm glad I don't have to do that. So connect it here. Oh, great. All right, let me do a couple things here quick before we start getting oil. Okay, I cracked open the crankcase breather just so it's not building any pressure. I got this hooked up to the oil pressure switch. See if that works. See if oil's coming out there. See if we can build some oil pressure here. Okay, so this is the oil pressure bypass, and it takes high pressure out of somewhere, and then this is the low pressure line which feeds like the cam and the front pulleys. So let's crack this open and see if we can get some oil seeping out of here. And we're cranking it, that'd be a good sign. So that's concerning. All right, I'm a little bit concerned that O-ring I put in that pipe on the oil pump is not working. Like it's bleeding out and not getting any pressure. So I got the bore scope up, looking at it, it's right here. And let's give this another shot and see if we see like oil just dumping out. Hopefully the camera doesn't get caught up in the front fan. Okay, I guess that's a good sign. All right, let's see if this might be on the oil gallery. All right, well, let's loosen this and see if this thing's gonna be full of oil since I pre-filled it. Whoa. So this must be the amount that's actually been pumped. Yeah, because it comes out right here. Maybe it just started working, hopefully. All right, I guess it is working. So it just needs to fill up this filter. It's just going kind of slow, I guess, with the starter and all. Oh! It's also dripping this nasty stuff out of here, which it does have some viscosity on it. Let's close this back up. Now I feel better about spinning this thing. Am I overthinking it? I just don't want to wreck, even though this engine was headed for the scrapyard, I don't want to wreck it. It's like brand new. It's like a crime to do something like that. So try to be careful a little bit. Okay, well, I guess the jury's still out if we're gonna have enough oil pressure when it runs. I think the starter's just kind of spinning it too slow to really get a good buildup of pressure, but I do see it in the mains, and it's coming in through the low pressure side, so I think it'll be okay. One thing I forgot to do, the top of this reminded me, I got to set the contact gap on the breakers. It says 10 to 12 thousandths, which seems really small actually, but that's what they're saying. So it's kind of hard to check for spark all the way. Okay, let's see here. The gap is set. Put this back on. All right, guys. Well, I don't have any spark plugs yet, but let's see if we can check for spark real quick. See if the coil and all that's good. So the end of these, I think for the screen spark plugs, which I don't have yet, I think they screw on, and then this looks like an insulator. And then I see like a drilled hole in the bottom of this. There's like some wire that comes out, and it's like soldered into the inside of this flathead screw. So this must all be part of the spark plug, and then the rest of it, well, it's got like a, it's got a male thread that goes on this female thread. We'll figure that when that comes, but I'll just clean this off and then I'll hold it up. Is this ground right here? Yeah, that's ground right there. So if we hold it up here and look closely, we should see a spark even without a plug. Hopefully we can get it on camera. Let's see, so like there, 24 volts. I haven't worked on a points ignition system. Whoa, in a long time. Okay, I barely know what I'm doing here. Okay. Oh, is that right? No, that's ground, my bad. Oh, look at that. All right, so we got oil, we got spark, we got some kind of compression. I think we're about ready to start this thing up. What else is there? All right, there's no carburetor. Anyway, this appears to be a single barrel side draft carburetor, which is not super common, at least in this country. I really wish the original one would have been in there. I'm sure it was at one point and someone just took it out. All right, so I got this carb here. This is originally off of a Ford, like inline 6 or maybe a small V8, but the cubic inches that this served is about the same for this engine. I looked that up. And this might look like a generic Chinese one that I got off of eBay for $85, but yeah, it's probably a real Ford one. Anyway, it won't work. I mean, the bolt pattern is like the same. Could this even mount on here? Look at that. Unfortunately, it is a carburetor, so it has to be up like this. So we'll get the old conversion kit to go from side draft to down draft. And then I think this should work. I don't know which way we want to go here. All right. Yeah, it's hitting those. There you go. A factory Rolls-Royce finish right there. All right. This is galvanized, so I'm gonna have to kind of grind this down a little bit before I weld it. Ground this down, get the galvanization off. Ooh, it's gonna be tight. I think I'm gonna flatten these out so it's easier to get to these nuts. Much better. Tons of space in here now. There-ish. This helmet is doing, oh, that's not straight. Kind of go section by section. I don't want this plate to warp, so I'll just kind of keep it cool. It won't be as pretty, but it won't be warped at least. All right, well, it's definitely a thing. Under here where I couldn't weld, I welded on the inside. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Probably not. I had to grind down some of the weld there to get the nuts to screw on without interfering. Which way do we want to mount this? I guess either works. This makes more sense to mount it like that. Wonder how bad this thing's gonna have vacuum leaks. All right, got a carburetor. Is that a choke? I've never used this carburetor before. Let's see. There's no throttle return on it. It's fine. All right, finally got spark plugs in. It took 2 weeks to get these in from England. Should probably wire wheel all these down. These are all rusty. But this looks like it just goes in here. There's a little contact in there. Hopefully this fits. Oh, thank goodness. Should probably set the gap. Oh, it has the gap right here. 15 thou. Thank goodness it's the right thread. Not go too crazy with the torque on that. Yeah, these are gapped nice. All right, this one has a 3 stamped on it right here. It's locked up. Nope. Don't give you much room here, geez. Okay. They're, I assume those are done right. By the way, one thing I didn't show here, I've plugged up this vacuum line on the carb. This is obviously for the vacuum advance, which we don't have. I also plugged up this line. I'm pretty sure this is probably for a brake booster, this vacuum line right here. So that's plugged up. There's these 2 lines right here, which I'm pretty sure go to the stock carb. Those were those 2 lines I opened up at the beginning that came out of the crate. But I'll maybe just plug those for now. I'm not actually sure if this is vacuum or not. This might be some other thing with the engine. I'm also going to add some break-in additive here. This is a new engine, first of all, but these old engines like the high zinc stuff, I believe. So. All right, well, we got fuel, we got spark. Hopefully we have compression. I added this oil gauge in just because I'm a little bit worried. That was a little bit slow coming out of here, but hopefully that's just the starter speed. Probably check the oil. I'm not even gonna attempt to use this fuel pump. Obviously, it's probably, I mean, we're a little bit low on that. I could probably add a little bit of oil. Okay, so we got oil. I got the breather open. Spark plugs in. What else is there? Oh, I should probably take that off. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would be where the rest of the ATF went. Was not expecting that. That surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. Return to Austin Motor Company in Birmingham. I'm guessing they don't want it anymore. Maybe I should grab a fire extinguisher here. Oh, that just spilled. Oh, I already got it. Okay. Oh, and there's a hole in this filter. What? How is that possible? It's a brand new filter. It came with my $80 carburetor. Make sure the bowl doesn't overfill. Oh yeah. Okay, she's got fuel. Fire extinguisher. Charlie's moving. Got my headgear on in case it actually does start. Oops. Choke on. Power. All right, here we go. This isn't gonna fall over, is it? That's pretty solid. Okay, well that's started right up, but there's no oil pressure. It's also pretty quiet, I don't need that. I guess we'll just run it for a second here and see if it maybe the oil pressure comes in. Wow, that started right up. All right, here we go. Ah, it's coming up. I forgot, there's no coolant in it. I'm amazed that started though. That started so easily. I guess it's the carburetor, really. So we got oil pressure. I saw it go up to like 10 or 15 when we were giving a little bit of gas. Ooh, this thing is freezing cold. Well, now what? I guess maybe we try to sneak some coolant in it. There's no way this water pump's not gonna leak. Okay, I got my spare radiator filling up right now. And there's actually already a through hole on the bottom there. So that goes down to the water pump. Ooh, no, it's leaking. I didn't see that coming. Anyway, and that comes out of the water pump and dumps back in here. This should work okay for a couple minutes, maybe. What am I forgetting? Oh, I need to put a fan belt on. I forgot about that. If I can just get it to run for more than a couple minutes, I'll be happy. I'm just curious to see how the water pump works. This should work great. Let's see on the middle. Oh yeah, see that? We're living up to the channel name right now. Haven't done anything like this for a while. All right. Not really worried about the head gasket. I think it's solid copper, so don't really have to worry about that. All right, how did I start this again? Got air coming out. It's actually pumping. That's impressive. Got warm water. All right. Let that heat up for a little bit, I guess. That smoke, by the way, is just the paint burning off. There are a few coolant leaks. I probably want to fix it before we take it on the road. But it seemed like the thermostat opened because it started coming out pretty good. And the water pump doesn't really look like it's leaking, out of the pulley at least. I'm actually really surprised by that. Everything. Yeah, everything worked kind of too easily. Okay, well, it's the next day. There's no oil leaks anywhere, just some water on the ground, and there's no water in the oil, so I think this engine's good. I'm a little bit surprised it started up and ran that easy, but I guess having a brand new carburetor does help a lot. I wonder why this engine's even in the US. I mean, there's really none of them around that I found. All the parts are in the UK. The only thing I can think of is maybe someone imported one probably a long time ago at great expense for their project, and they never got around to it, and maybe they passed on and it got just kicked around in estate sales or auction houses until eventually I got stuck with it. So to be completely honest, when I first started with this video, I thought I was just going to be stripping this engine down and selling it for parts. I figured a 70-year-old engine, there's no way it's not going to be rusted out inside. But it turns out it's a pretty strong engine, so I guess that was kind of a surprise to me. I'm thinking the fact that it's waterproof probably helped a lot in saving it, since it had clearly been sitting out for a long time. Its time was up though, I think. That crate was rotting out, and there was only a few more years until it just completely fell out of the crate and would have been destroyed. But that brings up the next question: what in the heck do I do with this thing? I had not been expecting to have a running engine at the end of this video, so what do I do now? I mean, there's not really a market for this engine in the United States. It's all in England, so I could strip it down for parts and sell it in England. I mean, I'm sure they'd be worth a lot of money, especially since I basically just paid scrap value for this thing. I could drop it into a Jeep. I don't really have much time for that, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some suggestions, or maybe you know better than me. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll be back soon for the hydraulic pump rebuild. It's right behind me. Turns out there's a little bit more to rebuilding a hydraulic pump than just throwing new parts in it and slapping it back together. So I've actually been waiting for parts, which is why I was doing this the last couple weeks. So anyways, catch you for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.